Hi everybody, we are almost at the very end of our learning session around how to complete the reporting template. So in the very recent presentation that I did just a moment ago, we were looking at section B, and that was of course to do with the money that you're spending based on what you had loaned, the financial report. We're now going to move into section C, and that's to do with the pay it forward activities. So I'll just share my screen now so you can have a look. And if I bring up the area here, so section B is there and we're into section C. So the exciting stuff. And so on the left here, you'll see the information that we're going to need. So basically, almost very similar to what we had to do in section B. And on the right-hand side, you'll see a snapshot of what that page actually looks like on the reporting template. What will be easier to do, though, is if we step through it together. Now, obviously, the fillable option is here on the left that I've been showing you all, and I've been also stepping through with the Word document on the right. But before we start filling out those pay it forward portions, I just wanted to revisit this information here. Now, this is a copy of the application form that you filled out, and it had a list of the different ways that you can start to pay it forward. Now, there's no set time for when you need to start, but we would urge and strongly encourage you to start as soon as possible, because time has a way of getting away very quickly. The disbursement for your loan was in the last few weeks, and so if you can do it simultaneously with those pay it forward activities, please do. So these were some suggestions, but of course we encourage you to be as innovative as you like to go through the details of how you're going to pay forward your loan. So let's come back to our fillable PDF. Now, I also wanted to raise with you guys that in the fillable PDF section, if I quickly scroll back up to the top of the page, when we put in the information in this first component, I'll just fill in those first two lines, and you will see that every single area now that has that same information has automatically populated what I just entered. So that's a nice, efficient form. Continuing down, of course, we have the period covered by this report. So that is 6th of October through to the 4th of November. The total amount that you loaned, whether it's 7,000 kina or otherwise, and then the amount that you have received recently in that first tranche. This is the interesting bit. So we're looking at, to date, in this first reporting period, how much have you managed to pay it forward? I'm going to put on here that I've paid forward 1,000 kina. Now, it's just an example. Now, this is where we actually have to start itemizing how I got to that 1,000 kina. So again, to remind you, we've got to meet this figure in total by the end of the actual project period, which is the 21st of December. This is what I'm up to so far. So let's start it off. On the 15th of October, which is last Saturday, I delivered a training session in financial literacy. I would usually charge 50 kina for one person to attend, and I delivered it to 10 people. So with that 50 kina, now this equates to what you believe is a reasonable amount to charge somebody if you were having to deliver that training. It could be less, it could be more, but you've got to nominate that figure. And a good suggestion around some of these training costs is perhaps to have a look around and see what other people are charging in the space. So the total amount that this comes to is 500 kina that I've paid it forward. And this section here is for you to put in a very short sentence around how was the activity executed. So I'm going to put in here that I delivered financial literacy training in my home. Now, it worked so well that I'm actually delivering another set of financial literacy training the following Saturday again. And you can just copy the same details from above. But this time I only had 5 women attend. So that comes to 250 kina. I'm just going to see if this is going to allow me to copy and paste, and I think it will, which will make my typing a little bit easier. Now, something else that I did recently, on the 16th of October, I participated in a market and I actually took out a stall, but I made the decision that I was going to give half of my stall to another SME. So I can put in here, promoted another SME. It might be a singular SME or maybe there's more than one, but I'll just put promoted one other SME. The stall actually costs me 500 kina, but of course, because I'm using it, it's only 250 kina that I can claim off there. It was only the one stall, and that's 250 kina. So I will put in here that I donated 50% of my retail space. So essentially, we now have a figure of 1,000 kina that's been spent or paid forward, and that's in that reporting period there. Moving down, you need to ensure that these activities must align to question 7 on your application form. So if we go back here, this is question 7 that we looked at just a moment ago. Now, the signing part. So I'm going to enter in my name, what my position is. It's the easy bit. And to put a digital signature in, so you can do one of two things. You could print up the form, sign it, then rescan it and send it back. Or you can utilize this particular option of a digital signature. I need to configure a new digital signature, unless you have one stored on file. So if I select here that I want to create a new one, and I'm going to continue, put in my details here, so you can step through it the same way that I am as well. So obviously you've got company name, position, what your email address is, put in here the correct country that we're in, and we're using a digital signature, so let's continue. You do need to select a password, so make sure it's one that you'll remember, and also one that's not easy to guess. And we save that. Digital file ID already exists. Would I like to replace it? Yes, I would. And I will continue. Now, this is my digital signature. It needs the password before I actually go any further. And I sign. So there you go. And it's populated a digital signature. I put in the date. Oh, not letting me put that in. It was sitting in the wrong area. And there we go. That's the filing complete. This is that last page that you can put some attachments for pictures or additional information, but make sure the file doesn't end up being too big. But that essentially is the end of our reporting template. So again, if there's any questions, direct them to Christine at the email and the WhatsApp details we've provided for you. Otherwise, all the best with filling out your first report, and thank you for your attention throughout the presentation. We shall talk to you again soon.